guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name's Mariah and I'm a real estate agent in the beautiful state of Oregon, and I make videos talking about all things real estate related. And today I'm doing a little day in the life of a real estate agent type video. I'm going to take you guys with me on my day as I go to the office and show you how I'm preparing for this listing presentation. What I'm doing today is I'm preparing to give a listing presentation to a almost $600,000 listing. And just to put things into perspective, if you are in another marketplace, like a larger city, then $600,000 might be the average home price for you. But where I'm at in Salem, Oregon, it definitely is not. $600,000 is well over the average price point here. So because of that, it would be considered almost a luxury type listing. And so because of that, this is going to be extra competitive. There's at least 3 or 4 other agents besides myself interviewing for this property. We want to be extra prepared. We want to really know our stuff and go the extra mile to really be professional. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing to do that today. Before I get to the office and show you guys what else I'm doing to win this listing and secure this listing, I want to show you guys something that I am doing that I know for sure will set me apart, because no other agent in my marketplace is doing this. And the reason I know for sure that no other agent in my marketplace is doing this is because this company only allows 1 agent per market to have this particular thing, this particular book for their niche. There's about 10 different books, and I'll explain if you don't know what I'm talking about yet, but I'll get to that. There's about 10 different books that you can choose from depending on what you're working. Mine is geared a little more towards for sale by owners because of course that's what I'm using these for. But let me tell you what I'm working on. This right here is what I'm talking about, what I know for sure is going to set me apart from other agents. Basically, what I did was I licensed my own real estate book without actually having to write it. I'm going to tell you guys how you can get the same thing for free. Before we get to that, let me explain a little background, and then we'll get on to the rest of the video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. This company license a book for you without you actually having to write it. It is branded towards you. It is jam-packed with tons of valuable information to give to home sellers, all kinds of home selling tips, things that you're going to want your sellers to know anyway, things that are genuinely going to help them sell their home quicker and for more money. And what home seller wouldn't want that? I really think that adding this to my presentation and everything else it is that I'm doing to try to secure the listing, I really think that adding this is going to help so much, because it goes along with my for sale by owner strategy so well, which I'll just recap real quick. If you're new here, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you probably already know what I do to list for sale by owners is I make the initial contact. So either I call them and establish some sort of a relationship, or I meet them face to face, either through a preview appointment, or I just show up at their door. Somehow, some way, I either show up face to face or I make a note to get to know them a little bit on the phone. So that's the first thing that I do. And then after that, I'm pretty much just following up with them until they're ready to list and realize on their own, because we know most for sale by owners, like high majority, are going to list with a realtor, and they're going to realize on their own that they need you. So I continue to follow up until they realize they need me. The ways that I follow up are through, 1 is mail, sending them valuable information in the mail, and 2 is through giving them phone calls, once a week or so, staying in their ear, reminding them, hello, here I am, I'm not going anywhere, building relationship with them through those constant phone calls. So this book goes perfectly with my strategy of how I list for sale by owners, because this is giving them value. Everything I talk about is all about giving them value and giving them value before we ask for anything. And this book right here is completely doing that. So what this book is going to do, I'm thinking, is it's going to add value before asking for anything, which is what I'm all about with when I work with for sale by owners. And 2, it is going to establish me or you, if you check these out as well. It is going to establish us as authorities in our marketplace and in our industry. The seller sees like you have a book, they're gonna be like, whoa, this person knows what they're doing, I'm gonna take them seriously. So that's what I'm thinking. So if you guys are interested in this little bookity book that I'm talking about, let me show you. I got a whole bunch of them because I plan to use these in more ways than just for sale by owners. I plan to use them on other types of leads, other types of listing appointments. You could literally like find a local business and drop a handful off there. I mean, these puppies are, I think, going to be a game changer. And if you would like to click in the link that's in my description box below, you can get 10 free books. Ah, that's like such a deal. That's insane. I'm super excited to use it and put it to work and let it work for me. When you guys get these books, you also get a free lead capturing site. This company is called Authorify, if you're not familiar with them, and they're doing a crazy deal. So like I said, right now, click the link in the description below. My plan is to get this in the mail before my listing presentation with this $600,000 listing, because then hopefully they will have already seen it and they'll, you know, none of the other agents are doing that in my marketplace. So hopefully it'll just be one of the few things that I'm doing to set myself apart. So enough of me babbling about this beautiful product. And now, and by the way, obviously when you guys get these 10 free books in the link in the description below, like, you're gonna have your face here. It's not gonna be me. It's not gonna say Mariah Vetras Crawford. It's gonna say Jane, you know, whatever your last name is, Jane. And yeah, literally just got my coffee like 5 minutes ago and it's already gone, because I forgot to order light ice. Sucks. Anyway, I will see you guys at the office. I have my checklist here for what I'm going to be printing at the office, and just to go over that with you guys, what I'm printing to prepare for this listing presentation is a trio. If you're not familiar with a trio, basically that's just the fancy word for the information of the home from the county, so they can see what their home looks like on the county records. And then number 2 is the CMA, and I'm not just gonna have a CMA, I'm actually going to explain the CMA. So I'm gonna print out all my comps, and then I'm going to make little notes next to each home, because as you know, if you've ever made a CMA, when you print the report, they can't see what the inside of the other homes looks like. They don't get to see all of the pictures of, you know, 123 Main Street, which is the comp that you're using. They don't get to see what it looks like. So the pictures could make a totally big difference in how you compare the homes. I don't know if I explained that in a way that makes sense, but basically I'm going to be writing notes and like to go more in depth with the market analysis, because I really want to get the price right. Next is my listing presentation. I make it on Toolkit CMA. That's something I've been asked a lot from in my videos is, what do you use to make your listing presentations? Toolkit CMA, it's a website. Google it, Toolkit CMA, toolkitcma.com. That's what I use. And then I'm also, I always say this, but testimonials are so important. I know I never go anywhere new, almost anywhere, without looking at their Yelp reviews first. So why are we so loose about our testimonials when it comes to real estate? That's super important, and people listen to what other people have to say about someone. So I'm going to bring them my testimonials. That's so powerful. The thing that I know that I need to work on is being more firm with the sellers when they're overpriced, because a lot of times I don't want to offend the seller. If they're so set on a certain price, they really think their home's worth a certain price, or if I know they're going to choose another agent who has higher priced comps over me because I'm giving them the lower price, the more realistic price. That's something that I have always kind of struggled with, that I really, especially with higher priced homes, because I just don't want to lose the listing. But I just have to remind myself it's not worth it taking an overpriced listing, because what happens is you get the listing, it's overpriced, and then it just sits for a while. It sits for a long time, and by the time they're ready to lower the price, it's been, you know, sitting for X amount of days, and buyers assume there's something wrong with it because it's been on the market so long, and if there wasn't something wrong with it, it would have already sold. Or they assume they can make a super lowball offer because it's been on the market so long. I know I think that when I see a home that's been on the market forever. And another thing that happens to us as agents, a lot of times, not always, sometimes we have really cool clients, but sometimes when the listing is overpriced, the sellers start to blame you, because obviously it's your job to get it sold and you're not doing it. So they start to put the blame on you a lot of times, or they start to kind of get upset at you, and the relationship just isn't as good as it was, because you can kind of tell when you call them with updates or whatever, or with no updates, they're not as happy with you as they once were. And I don't know about you, but I know when I know that I have a seller who's not happy with me at the moment, it makes me feel really crappy, and it kind of is a weight on me. And so that's something I know when we take overpriced listings, it can very easily turn into that situation where you have a seller who's, you know, kind of pissed at you. Even if they're not showing it, you can sometimes kind of tell, because their home's not selling, even though, you know, it might be their fault because you told them the price and they didn't want to list it at the realistic price. So it's their fault and you're doing everything you can. But yeah, if this makes any sense, if you understand what I'm talking about, leave a comment below. But because of all those things, I don't want the stress in my life of an overpriced listing that's just sitting. I have really told myself I'm not going to take a listing unless it is priced right. And the only exception is if I have an honest conversation with the seller, and I'm going to be very honest with them about the price. Even if I think it might offend them, I'm going to be as honest as possible. And if we have a talk and we say, if they agree to lower the price in a couple weeks max, if we're not getting the activity that we should be getting at that price point, then I will take it. But other than that, don't have time for it. Don't want that in my life. Even if it's a high price listing, it just looks bad. It makes you look bad, and it just adds added stress that no one needs. To piggyback on what I was saying about not wanting to take an overpriced listing, what I do when I don't get the listing, when I, you know, maybe that happens when I give a listing presentation and it's clear that the reason why I didn't get the listing is because they didn't like my price and they wanted to go with someone who thought that it was worth more than I did, even though that has nothing to do with, you know, home selling or how you're gonna sell it or whatever. But maybe they were offended at your price, or I do this no matter what. If I ever don't get a listing, I always send them a thank you note, thanking them for their time. Thank you for meeting with me. You know, I'm sorry, you know, it didn't work out, but if anything changes in the future, we'd still love to help you, just to keep that door open, just to let them know there's no hard feelings, the door is still open. And what happens oftentimes when the reason we didn't get the listing is because they were not realistic about the price and they went with someone else who was maybe didn't know, or was just trying, you know, the price, didn't know the market very well, or maybe they just were trying to win the listing by the price. And I honestly did that a lot as a brand new agent, but that's a great way to get a lot of expired listings, is just winning the listing because they like your price. But anyway, so a lot of times what I will do is I will send them a note thanking them, keeping that door open, and oftentimes they will come to us after it doesn't work. You know, maybe it's been on the market for a few months with the agent that they chose, and they will come to us and we will get to list it at that point. And that's honestly even better than listing it at first, when you first give the listing presentation, because at that point, they've already been on the market with someone else for a few months, and at that point, they are ready to lower the price. They've seen, okay, it's been advertised everywhere, and we're still not selling. At that point, they're finally ready to lower it. And, you know, if they've been pissed, they've already been pissed at someone else because it's not selling. And so, usually they're ready to list it at a realistic price at that point. And so it saves you a lot of wasted time. So, always keep the door open when giving listing presentations, even if you don't get it for whatever reason, because you really never know. There's a really good chance that things might not work out with their agent and they'll come right back to you. here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button with the notification bell, because next week's video, I'm going to share with you how we got $1 million buyer from a Craigslist ad, and you're not going to want to miss it. I will see you guys next week.